The rain hammered against the windshield. Rebecca Sterling gripped the steering wheel of her black Lamborghini. 3 years earlier, she had been featured on magazine covers. Business reporters called her a visionary. Investors competed for meetings with her. Now she was driving toward a used car dealership alone. Bankrupt, broken, she parked in front of the building and stared at the luxury car. The vehicle had once represented success. Now, it was the last valuable thing she owned. Her hands trembled. A salesman approached. "You, selling it?" Rebecca nodded, the words caught in her throat. Within an hour, the paperwork was finished. The keys left her hand. The money immediately disappeared into debt payments. Years of work, years of sacrifice gone. She stepped onto the sidewalk, carrying a single suitcase. No driver, no assistant, no security, no future. Her phone rang. It was the bank. The final property connected to her company had been seized. The call lasted less than 2 minutes. When it ended, Rebecca realized she had nowhere to go. Not tomorrow, not tonight. Nowhere. The sky darkened. Rain soaked her coat. People rushed past without noticing her. For the first time in her life, she understood what it meant to be invisible. Hours later, she sat on a bench near a small neighborhood park, cold, hungry, exhausted. A little girl approached, carrying an umbrella. "Are you okay?" Rebecca looked up. The girl could not have been older than 11. "I'm fine." The child tilted her head. "You don't look fine." A man appeared. Moments later, Emma, the girl, pointed toward Rebecca. "Dad, I think she needs help." Rebecca lowered her eyes. She had spent years leading thousands of employees. Now a child pitied her. The man studied her quietly. His expression carried concern rather than judgment. "My name is Nathan." Rebecca forced a weak smile. Nathan noticed the suitcase, then the rain, then the exhaustion on her face. "Do you have somewhere to stay tonight?" Rebecca hesitated. The silence answered for her. Nathan exchanged a glance with Emma. Then he made a decision that would change all 3 lives forever. "You can stay with us." Rebecca blinked. "What?" "It's not much," Nathan said, "but nobody should be out here in weather like this." Emma smiled. "We have a couch." Rebecca had spent years surrounded by wealth. Yet, at that moment, the simplest act of kindness felt priceless. She accepted, and neither of them could have imagined where that choice would lead. Nathan lived in a modest house near the edge of town. The paint was faded. The furniture was old. But everything was clean and cared for. Emma proudly showed Rebecca the living room. "You can sleep here." Rebecca looked around. This house was smaller than her former walk-in closet. Yet it felt warmer than the mansion she had lost. That evening, Nathan cooked dinner. Nothing fancy, just soup and sandwiches. Rebecca had eaten at exclusive restaurants across the world, yet she could not remember the last meal that tasted this comforting. Over the next few days, Nathan never asked uncomfortable questions. He did not ask how much money she had lost. He did not ask about her mistakes. He simply treated her like a person. Emma quickly became attached to her. The girl asked endless questions. What was it like being a chief executive officer? Were you famous? Did you really drive a Lamborghini? Rebecca laughed for the first time in weeks. Yes. Emma's eyes widened. Wow. Nathan smiled from across the room. The sound of Rebecca laughing stayed with him longer than he expected. Weeks passed. Rebecca searched for work. Every interview ended the same way. Companies saw her bankruptcy history. Doors closed. Embarrassment followed. One evening, she returned home defeated. Nathan noticed immediately. "Tough day." Rebecca nodded. I built a company worth millions. She laughed bitterly. Now nobody wants to hire me. Nathan sat beside her. You know what I see. What? A woman who survived something. Most people couldn't. Rebecca looked at him. Nobody had spoken to her that way since her collapse. Nathan continued, failure doesn't erase who you are. The words lingered in her heart. Days became weeks, weeks became 2 months. Rebecca slowly became part of the household. She helped Emma with schoolwork, cooked meals, cleaned the house. For the first time in years, she experienced a simple family life, and she loved it. That frightened her, because she knew she could not stay forever. One afternoon, Grace Miller finally located her. Grace arrived with surprising news. Investors were interested in funding a new venture. Rebecca had a chance to rebuild, but the opportunity required immediate travel. Across the country, Rebecca spent the entire night thinking if she stayed, she might never recover. She stopped. No words felt sufficient. Instead, she left quietly, without saying goodbye, without explanation. When Nathan returned home, he found the couch empty. Rebecca was gone. Only silence remained. Emma cried. Nathan searched for days, but Rebecca had vanished. Life moved on. Or at least it appeared to. 3 years passed. Nain continued working construction. Emma grew into a bright young teenager. Their life remained modest. Bills remained difficult, yet they endured together. Meanwhile, Rebecca rebuilt her career from nothing. She worked harder than ever before, made smarter decisions, learned painful lessons. Eventually, her new company succeeded, then expanded, then flourished. 3 years after leaving Nathan's house, Rebecca stood inside a glass tower overlooking the city. She had regained her fortune, but success brought little satisfaction because one question haunted her every day. How were Nathan and Emma? One evening she opened an old box. Inside was a photograph: Nathan, Emma, and Rebecca, standing together in front of the little house. She realized something important. The happiest period of her life had not occurred during wealth. It had happened during those 2 months. The next morning she booked a flight. When Rebecca arrived in town, she barely recognized the neighborhood. Yet, Nathan's house remained exactly where she remembered. Her heart pounded. She knocked. The door opened. Nathan stood frozen. Neither spoke. 3 years of emotions filled the silence. Finally, Emma appeared behind him. For a second, she stared. Then recognition exploded across her face. Rebecca, she ran forward and hugged her. Rebecca could not stop crying. Nathan looked away, overwhelmed. Later that evening, they sat together in the living room. The same couch. Rebecca finally explained everything. The opportunity, the fear, the shame, the reason she left without saying goodbye. Nathan listened quietly. When she finished, he asked only one question. Were you okay? Rebecca stared at him. After 3 years, after all the pain, that was what he cared about. Not himself, not his hurt her. Something broke inside her. She began crying again. The next few weeks revealed how difficult Nathan's life had become. The construction company employing him was downsizing. Medical bills from Emma's injury during a sports accident had accumulated. Financial pressure surrounded them. Rebecca decided it was time to repay a debt that could never truly be repaid. She purchased the construction company, then protected every employee position. She created scholarship funds for local children. She ensured Emma's education would be fully funded. Most importantly, she offered Nathan a leadership role, overseeing community development projects. Nathan resisted at first. I don't want charity. Rebecca smiled. It's not charity. What is it? It's trust. Nathan accepted. Months passed. Their bond deepened naturally. This time, there were no secrets, no disappearances, no unfinished conversations. One evening, Rebecca visited the park where Emma first found her. The same bench remained there. Nathan joined her. They watched the sunset. "Do you ever regret helping a stranger?" Rebecca asked. Nathan smiled. "Never." Rebecca laughed softly. "Good." Nathan looked at her. "You changed my life." Rebecca shook her head. "No." Her eyes filled with emotion. "You changed mine for years." She had believed success meant power, money, recognition, influence. Nathan taught her something different. Success was kindness, loyalty, family, love. Several months later, Nathan proposed beneath a sky full of stars. There was no crowd, no reporters, no luxury event. Just the three people whose lives had become inseparable. Emma cried before Rebecca could even answer. Rebecca laughed through tears. Yes, the wedding took place. The following spring, employees attended, neighbors attended, friends attended, but the most important guest was Emma. She stood proudly beside them, watching the woman who once slept on their couch become part of their family forever. As Nathan and Rebecca exchanged vows, they remembered everything: the rain, the suitcase, the lost fortune, the lonely bench, the little house, the painful goodbye. The long years apart, every struggle had led them there. The bankrupt chief executive officer, who once sold her Lamborghini to survive. The single father, who offered shelter when she had nothing. Together they prove that kindness can change a life. And sometimes, if fate is patient enough, it can also create a love story worth waiting for.